You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Pet Life Radio.
You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hey everybody, this is Kristen Powers with Petz Rock at Pet Life Radio. Today we have a special show for you. I have two of my best friends,
Taylor Wopschall
and Maddy Kameny.
And today we're going to talk about some awesome stories about our pets. Alright, so I'm not going to go do my pet of the day joke or pet trivia because today I just like to spend the whole time with my friends talking. So right now we're going to talk about what type of pets we have and some of our favorite activities that we do with them. So I'll go first. My number of pets are too long to list, so I'm going to sum them up. But basically I have dogs, cats, goats, sheep, horses, chickens, turtles, guinea pigs, and a whole bunch of cows. Okay, how about you, Taylor?
At the moment, I have two cats.
What are their names?
The Cuteness and Sweetie.
Awesome.
I have two cats named Molly and Fiona, and a bunny named Macabre.
Sweet. Okay, so my favorite activity to do with my pets is probably, well, our goats love to get food, and so do our chickens, and it's a lot of fun bringing scraps out to them and making the chickens do tricks to get their food. What about you guys?
Well, if I tie a string to, like, my ankle and run around the house, my cats will chase me violently until they can get the string.
And you, Maddy?
Well, we recently built a pen for our rabbit, and he actually goes in it, so that's what we do.
Does he sleep in it?
No.
What does he do?
He runs around and hides.
Interesting. Nice. So what are your animals' personalities like? Obviously, I have tons of animals, which go from a super stubborn, barky dog to a little reclusive turtle. But you guys have less pets. So let's go with you guys. Here, Matt, you go first.
All right. Well, my bunny's really antisocial, and we've had him for like 3 years, and he's finally letting us touch him. So that's been a struggle, but he's very sweet. And then Fiona is my fat cat, and she likes food better than people. And Molly's the other cat. She's just kind of very snuggly. Yeah.
Cool. How about you, Taylor?
Well, both my cats were feral cats, then they had been in cages, and then we went to rescue them, so they're very scared and will run away from anybody unless it's my mom. So they run away from me and everybody else except, my mom. So.
Yeah. Why do they only, hang out with your mom?
Because they're just so afraid of everybody and everything, including me, that my mom's the only person they actually trust.
I see. Okay, well, we're going to go to commercial break really quickly, and then when we come back, we're going to spend a whole bunch of time talking about really dorky, funny stories with our animals.
Don't go anywhere, because the best is yet to come. Stick around.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your four-legged fashions today. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
back to the party.
Let's go.
With the hottest party in town.
Hey everybody, thanks for waiting. So now we're gonna do some funny stories. They may not be funny to you, but we consider them funny to us. So we're gonna go ahead and tell you our funny stories. So, who wants to go first? Anyone?
I will.
Okay.
Well, I have a cat. Well, her name is the Cuteness, and she used to have this favorite little green fuzzy mouse. And so I would throw it down the hallway, and then she'd chase it, and she'd bring it back, and she'd stop halfway and drop it and come and look at me like, well, I'd have to tell her to go get it, and then she'd have to go run back and get it, and then bring it all the way back to me, and then she'd look at me with those big cat eyes, and be like, please throw it again.
Oh.
And we'd do that for half an hour before she'd go to bed.
Oh, that's so cute. Maddie, what about you?
Well, a couple years ago, our cat Fiona, this was a Sunday morning, and we woke up and she found her tooth was bleeding because she had a stem stuck in it from a leaf. So we actually had to take her to the vet on a Sunday morning, really early in the morning, and they took it out and it cost us $200.
To get a leaf out of your cat's mouth.
Yeah, because it was really deeply embedded in there. I don't know how she did that.
That's cool. Well, one of my funniest stories is I was probably 8 years old, and I was walking my dog Reeboks, and it was really snowy out. We were probably about 100 yards from our house, and there was this big post in the middle of the field, and we were just both running, and it was like the movies where it was slow motion. It's do do do, with both people with the dog on one side of the leash and me on the other. And all of a sudden, I just remember wham, and we were both on the ground, and we looked up and I remember both of us looked at each other and we were like, what happened? And we realized that the leash had gotten tangled around the post. We had both fallen around it, and we had to untangle ourselves from it because we had both not been looking at the pole. Do you guys have anything else you want to any funny stories?
Dog story.
Okay.
Well, a couple years ago, I used to pet sit for my friends, and so they had a big boxer Great Dane mix, and I'd walk her down to the bus stop every morning when I went to wait for the bus, and then she'd just walk back up to the house on her own. And so one day we saw a dog, and since the dog was about 4 times bigger than I was, it went to go for the other dog, and so I'm holding onto the leash, and it's running the other direction, and pulled me over, and I'm laying in the middle of the street trying to hold on to the dog as it runs at the other dog, and I'm like, and it was just, and it was horrible. And then there was a car, and I had to drag the dog off the road to not get hit by the car.
That doesn't sound funny. That sounds really scary. Okay. Well, let's see. I also remember I was 8 years old, and I had just gotten my first guinea pig. And so we put a box, we had taken a box, it was just the bottom part of the shoebox without the lid, and we cut out a little hole for it so it ran in. And the next morning, we looked in, and our guinea pig was in the box, and we turned around, we heard this noise, and we turned around, and the box was moving around the cage, and it was just floating around the cage and smacking into the corners and running around in circles, and it was the guinea pig, and she was pushing her box around, and I remember, all of us thought it was, the funniest thing because you could not see any part of our guinea pig, and it was just, this box, randomly moving around in the middle of the house. Hey, Maddie, do you have any other stories?
Yeah, that reminded me about my mouse. We actually used to have 4 mice, and, one of them was, traumatized at the time that we got her, and her name was Ginger, and so once I don't know why, but me and my sister had this stupid idea to take them outside or something. I don't really remember. And then my sister took the mouse out of the cage, and then she was so antisocial and she had problems, and she hung on my sister's finger with her teeth. She just hung there for a really long time, and my sister saved her because she almost escaped, and my sister was only 5 at the time, so she's still really proud of that.
So she saved the mouse?
Yeah, it was about to fall into the house or whatever, so.
Yeah, that would be hard to find. Alright, yeah, I remember, this is more recently, but we just got a whole bunch of chickens, and we have 7 chickens now. And 2 of them are adult chickens that we rescued, and so we let them run around the house, because we have a big field, around, and one morning we had left the doors open because it was too nice to have AC on, and we were, in the kitchen, and all of a sudden we turn around, we hear these little, like, clicking noises, like, against the floor, and we turn around, and we heard, like, little going around the corner, and we looked around the corner, and our chickens were in the kitchen, and they were walking around the kitchen and eating, like, all the breadcrumbs that had come off the ground. We didn't realize that they had been in the house for, like, an hour or something. We walked around the bottom floor, and we had to pick up, like, all the chicken food that they left behind. But they're really sweet chickens, so it was okay. Alright, so, let's see. Anyone else have a stupid, funny pet story? Maddie, you want to tell one?
Yeah, so I have a very close friend who's also my neighbor, and I pet sit for her cat a lot, who's very old. The cat, not the... and so the cat, she never eats until the family gets back, because she just likes to sulk when they're not there. But my friend told me that if I turn on the bath water to a low drip and she sticks her head under it, that it'll make her happy, and she actually did it.
So she would just stick her head under the water so she would eat?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that's cool. So we're going to go to another commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about childhood stories. And basically, they're probably the same as our funny pet stories, but these ones can include, like, anything from something sad to happy. So if you want to hear what happened in our childhood involving pets, stay tuned.
Don't leave this party before it's over, because the best is yet to come. Only losers leave the party early anyway. Party on. Back in a few. Hands up!
Pet Life Radio, the #1 pet radio network on the planet, joins forces with iHeartRadio to put the power of your pets in your pocket.
Awesome.
Download the iHeartRadio app and rock Pet Life Radio on your phone, on your tablet, on your Xbox, in your car. Pet talk, pet tunes, and fun pet times. Pet Life Radio and iHeartRadio. Positively Possum.
Back to the party.
Let's go.
With the hottest party in town.
Alrighty, and we're back. I hope you've had a fun time so far listening to our interview with Maddy Kameny, Kristen Powers, and Taylor Wopschall. So, we're going to talk now about childhood stories from involving pets, and believe me, we have plenty of them. So, we're going to go ahead right now. Who wants to start? Taylor or Maddy?
I will.
Taylor.
When I was like 4 or 5, we went to the park, my mom and I was like, oh look, there's a cat in the tree. And my mom's like, oh well, we have to at least get him out of the tree. So we stacked 2 trash cans on top of each other and got these 2 teenagers to go and climb up on the trash cans with the cat out of the tree. And so I was looking up at the tree, I'm like, Mom, she goes, yes. I'm like, well, we're keeping the cat, we're naming him Ketsy, and we're taking him home. And she's like, excuse me? And I'm like, yeah. So for like a few years we had him, and so he was fun. He used to come up, if I was holding him, he used to come up and nibble on my nose. And it was just the cutest little thing. And so
That's cute. Yeah. All my pets, I think, have come from like an animal shelter, so I don't think mine's that interesting of a story. So, Maddy, what about you? Do you have any?
Yeah, about getting my cat Molly, who we still have. But when I was 4, I actually picked her name, I think. Yeah, we picked out the cat, and she was just a regular tabby, and I picked the name Molly, and we still have her. And she's an old lady.
Where did you get her from again?
I think we were living in South Carolina at the time, but it was just an animal shelter.
Word. I like animal shelters. So, yeah, I remember when I lived in Massachusetts, we had this dog named Reeboks, and she was this, like, German Shepherd Rottweiler mix, and she was the sweetest dog ever. She had, like, a really smooth fur head, and, like, she had, like, the curliest matted hair on her body, and she had no tail, because when she was just a puppy, some person tried to dock her tail because she was part Rottweiler, and so they, like, tied a rubber band around her tail to cut off the circulation, and it was really sad. But my dad was working at the Animal Rescue League of Boston at the time, and he rescued her, and what did he do? So they had to do surgery, and they had to amputate her tail off, so we had a funny little looking dog with no tail, but she was so sweet. And I remember we were living in Norwell, Massachusetts at the time, and we lived in a 2-story like townhouse apartment thing, and she was not allowed to sleep on the couch because she was so furry and her fur was really weird. weird, so it would, like, stick to the couch, and I used to come down from the stairs, and she'd be on the couch, and she'd look at me with, like, really big eyes, like, I've just been caught, oh no. But I would just come sit with her, and I would, like, lay on top of her, and we would watch, like, Saturday morning cartoons together. And I remember that was, like, probably one of my favorite memories of my dog. Do you guys have any others that you want to share?
Well, we used to have 2 rats that were, like, my favorite pets. I mean, just rats in general. I'm going to get rats when I live alone, because my mom said no. But we used to have this rat named Harriet who ate banana chips, and I thought that was very cute.
Did you just, like, feed her with your hands and just, like, she would just nibble on the banana chips?
Yeah, I mean, for my bunny, it's hard for him to eat out of our hand. It took a while for him to trust us, but for rats, they just, they would just sit on your shoulder, and, they're very loving.
Oh, that's so cute. That's really nice to hear, because, like, everyone thinks rats are, like, creepy, and it's really annoying, right?
Right. They're not the ones that live in the dungeon or anything. They're just normal, domesticated. They're really sweet and really smart.
Oh, that's nice. What about you, Taylor? Did you have one?
Yeah, when I was younger-ish, I had a cat who, he used to like chasing like little jingly toys or whatnot. And so he'd chase him and he wouldn't be paying attention and he'd be running too fast, so he'd either like he'd try and stop or skid across the floor and not be paying attention at all and like run into like the fridge or the dresser. And then he'd like stand there and shake his head and then turn in the other direction and run the other way. And do it like over and over again. And we got really worried about him, but it was kind of adorable to watch at the same time.
Aw, that's cute. We used to have a goat named Shirley, and Shirley didn't live in our house, but she was trained to be a house goat. But she was about 14 years old, which is like super old for a goat. And like when she was really sick, and we had to it was January of 2008, and we had to bring her into our house, and she had to live in the bathroom. She was sick, and it was really sad because she was like sick, but it was really cute because we like took videos of this goat in our bathroom, like, drinking Gatorade and getting her lips, like, all red and eating oatmeal. And it was so funny. It was really nice, though, because she ended up dying 2 days later of old age, but that was probably one of the best, like, last memories of any of my pets, so it was really nice. So, any other stories?
I have one.
You have one, Taylor?
Yeah. The cuteness, now, I have her, she has a thing for... When she plays with her toys, her favorite toys are little plastic balls that have jingly things inside them that she can bat around. And she decides that she doesn't want to do it during the day. She wants to do it at 1 o'clock in the morning. And the other thing she plays with is this old sock I had that I gave to her because I couldn't find the other one. And she carries it around. And she meows really loud with it, and her mouth comes out muffled, but she only does this during, 1 o'clock in the morning, so she's waking us up with all this noise. It's adorable to watch, though, because she'll walk up to you with the sock in her mouth and go, yeah.
Oh, that's really cute. Maddie, what do you have to say?
Yeah, when we first got our cat Fiona, this is a funny story. She was in the backseat with my sister, and this was a few years ago, and we were trying to figure out what we might name her. So I said, "Hey, Abby, what color are her eyes? Maybe we can name her something related to that." And she looked at them for a second. She said, "They're kind of boogery green, like yours."
That's her sister.
Yeah.
Is she your younger sister?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, she's younger.
That's funny. So boogery green.
Like yours.
Oh, like yours. Oh, that's funny. It's kind of sad. But so, yeah, I also remember I had a cat named Oreo, and he was obviously a black cat. And he, when my friend Luciana used to come over, we would tie string around our waist and, make it really long so it touched the floor so we looked like cats. And we'd run around the coffee table and, have him chase us, and he would go crazy. He'd, drag the string and, literally get, we would be running, and he'd, grab the string and let himself get dragged across the floor in, circles. And then we'd, take off the string, and we'd take a flashlight, and I'm sure plenty of people have done this with their cats, so we would just shine the flashlight on the wall, and he would run up to it and jump up on the wall and smack it with his paw. It was so weird, but it was so much fun as a third grader.
My cat Fiona, when she was first learning how to be litter box trained, when we were still trying to do that, she actually went to the bathroom in the trash can. And then my sister wrote a poem about it.
She wrote a poem about it. What was do you remember the poem at all?
No, she was in kindergarten, though, and Yeah.
Nice. All right, well, I think that's it now for our stories, but we've had a great show so far. And again, this is Kristen Powers, Taylor Wopschall,
And Maddy Kameny.
Thanks for joining us today. This has been an awesome show. So I hope you've been tuning in to the rest of our Pet Life Radio shows. We have a great one on Courtney's Critters that you should check out. I'd like to thank the producers, and I hope everyone has a super duper day. Tune in for the next Pet Life Radio show as soon as it comes out. Thank you. Bye.
Let's talk pets every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.